everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a kind of like first impression get ready with me haul video. I ordered a few things from BH Cosmetics and I want to like try them out and use them today and kind of like let you guys know what I think about them as I'm using them for the first time. So the first two items that I got were both foundations and these were super inexpensive. I think they were $4.50 each. I think that might have been like a sale price. I don't know if that's like a permanent sale price or not, but the two colors that I got were the two lightest colors. And this is called just the BH Cosmetics Complexion Collection Liquid Foundation. So L2 is light olive and then L3 is light rose. And I must say I'm kind of surprised at how dark the third color is. I mean, I guess it's not super dark, but I'm usually always like the second or third, sometimes the first lightest color in you know, certain foundation colors. I just find it funny that the light olive color seems to be a little bit closer and lighter to my skin tone, so I'm going to be using this one today. Again, I just thought it was kind of weird that olive was the light olive was the color, because I don't think I've ever had a foundation product in my color that was called olive anything. But so when I first squirt this out on the back of my hand, this seems to be like a really like thick kind of foundation. It seems to be hopefully like full coverage. So this is what it looks like with the first coat. Surprisingly, it is still very, I wouldn't really call this like full coverage with the first application. It just kind of seems to be more like a light to medium. I can still see quite a bit of like my natural skin texture through it, like different tones and stuff. I feel like I can still see some little, you know, breakouts and stuff. I can still see some of my freckles. So I'm gonna do another coat and see how that turns out. And that was about 1.5 pumps. The first application I did the same thing this time, and I'm just gonna again kind of dot it around and see if it builds up any better. So this is what it looks like with the second coat done. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes to see if it kind of like dries or kind of like really sets by itself. So I'm gonna wait just a couple minutes and I'll be back and share that with you guys. So I let the foundation set for a couple minutes. I kind of like fanned it a little bit for about a minute or so to kind of see how it would dry on its own, and it dried pretty okay. It still had like the tiniest bit of kind of like that very slight tacky kind of feeling. So what I did was I went ahead and I applied my under eye concealer. I used the Hard Candy Glamouflage concealer. Then I set my under eye with the e.l.f. High Definition setting powder, one of my favorites. I love this. And then I also went ahead and did a light dusting of the setting powder all over my foundation just to kind of get rid of any of that kind of sticky tackiness that was left. But it was a very, very slight amount, so nothing to really be concerned about. So the next product I'm going to use is in a palette of one of theirs. This palette is called the BH Cosmetics Bronze Paradise, and it looks like this. It's really pretty. You're gonna see my ring light, but it's really pretty. As you can see, it's very streaky. I kind of like wiped it down with like a wipe. It definitely left streaks, but you know, whatever. This kind of packaging, it's very pretty but totally fingerprint prone, so not that that's like a really huge thing, but just to be aware. So it is like a pretty metallic bronze, and then when you open it up, it looks like this. So the actual mirror is huge and it's really good. It's not like one of those super cheap kind of like funhouse mirrors. The only thing is that the insert tray here is like a plastic. It's like a very lightweight kind of plastic. Like I can kind of like push on this corner here and I can feel like it's just not like a super hard plastic or anything. But again, I'll talk more about that later once I get into the like palette. But for now, there are 9 eyeshadows in this palette, and there is like a highlighter and a bronzer kind of product. So I'm gonna use these two products and see how they work for me. So I'm gonna take my Sigma face brush. It's just an angled contour. The number has rubbed off, and I'm sure this is like, this brush is literally like 5 years old, so the numbers are probably not the same anyway. So I'm just gonna pick up some of that bronzer color. I don't know how intense this is going to be, so I'm going to kind of tap some of it off. And I'm going to go really lightly because it's kind of scary working with a new bronzer you're not familiar with. So I'm going to like do a little bit. So if you don't see anything right away, it's probably just me being a little light-handed. So this is the side with the kind of like bronzer contour, and this is the side without. So I think it's actually a pretty good bronzer. I feel like you can get light enough to where if you're like super pale like me, it's easy to control since you're not gonna like get this huge dark brown stripe, but it also seems to be pretty buildable, so like I can keep going and adding, you know, more layers and kind of like build up some more of that color. So this is with the bronzer. So far I like it a lot. It was very easy to work with. It was kind of like that Goldilocks spot where it wasn't too sheer to where like it wasn't worth doing anything, but it also wasn't too pigmented that it was hard to blend or, you know, left any weird streaks. So I like the bronzer so far. I think it worked pretty fine for me. So the next product I'm going to use is the highlighter in this palette, and this one is a little bit more of like a dusty mauve kind of color. That one is right here. So I typically go for a little bit more of a lighter and a more yellow kind of highlighter, so I hope that this color isn't too dark for me, but let's see. And while I was filming this, I just realized I forgot to use something I meant to use, so I'm gonna start using them right now. And what it is a brush collection that I got from them. So this is called the Dot Collection 11-piece brush set in pink. So this is what the box looks like. I think this was $20, and it's 11 brushes, and then it also comes with this really cute little carrying case. It snaps off and voila. So I thought this was really cute, and I have not bought new brushes in a long time. So really quickly, this is what the brushes look like. They have a pink handle and a gold ferrule, and the tips of these brushes, they're all like a duo kind of like fiber looking brush, and they have a very slight kind of like dyed pink top to them. And I wish I would have remembered, I don't know how I forgot, but really quickly, it looks like you get a large kind of powder brush. Next is, I should have used this one kind of looks to be more of like an angled contour brush. Then we've got, this looks to be about a foundation brush, one of those flat kind of shaders. I don't really like these too much for foundation. I can't go back from like a beauty sponge. Then there's this one, which is really cool. It's like a huge fan brush. It's super like thick, but it's like, I think I'm gonna try this for my highlight, but I've never used one like this. I'm kind of excited. And then you've got a series of small eye brushes. So you've got your flat shader brush. There is another kind of like flat square top brush, slightly angled one, looks like a lip or eyeliner. Here's a really short smudger brush. Another one that could kind of like be like a lip brush. These aren't really like named or anything. They've got numbers on them. And then the final one is more of like a softly domed like blending brush. So I'm gonna try these today. I'm not a huge fan of like synthetic fibers, to be honest, but I'm gonna give it a go and see how it works. So again, I'm a little scared on how much to really pick up on this brush, because using a new product is kind of, it's always hard to gauge like how good it is and stuff. Like when I'm using a product, I know it's like I kind of know how many pumps to use or like how much pressure to use and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna kind of dust this across my cheekbones. And with the first application, I went super light, so I'm gonna kind of build it up again. I want to see if the color is gonna be too dark for me or if I like it. It's actually not too bad, so let's see. Do it on the other side. It's definitely awkward using a large brush like this, but I've totally seen people do it before. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this might be too big of a brush for me to use for highlighter, so but it is a super soft brush, and I'm gonna have to give this another go doing like contouring or something, or bronzing at another date. So for now, I'm gonna go back to my standard e.l.f. brush, and I'm gonna really give this a good try and see what I think about it. So it's actually not too dark for me. I did kind of go a little a little overboard with the highlighter, but I think you can see it. But it's actually not too dark for me, so that's good. So then I'm just gonna take a little bit more. I'm gonna go down my nose, Cupid's bow, chin, you know, the standard highlighting spots. So yeah, I actually really like that. It doesn't look too bad. So next I'm gonna move on to eyes. My friend lovingly called this palette, she's like, it looks like the Southwest, dirt and turquoise. So I would agree with that, but it's very pretty. So I'm gonna use these shadows. I'm gonna see what I think about them, and hopefully they're good. And I forgot to mention this palette is actually, I think it was $10. Again, I can't remember if that was the sale price or if that's just the regular price. But 9 eyeshadows, a highlighter, and a bronzer for $10. So hopefully these eyeshadows are good, because if so, I think this might be worth it. So I'm gonna start out using the Ruby Kisses eyeshadow primer, and I'm just gonna put that all over my lids and blend that in. So first I'm gonna take one of the BH Cosmetic brushes. This is brush number 6. That one is like a flat shader brush. So for the first color, what should I do? I kind of feel like I want to go bold, but like not too bold. So first I'm going to start out with this middle color here. Oops, almost dropped it. I'm going to apply this all over my lid. So I'm just kind of doing like a patting kind of motion rather than like swiping or dragging, especially for shimmer shadows. I find that that is one of the best ways to apply it, because that way you get most of that pigment really densely packed on, and you get more of that shine rather than just kind of have like a swiping motion. Wow, so that's really pretty. That seemed to go on really easy, even with like synthetic brushes, which like I said I'm typically not a huge fan of, but I don't know, this seemed to like really work really well. I guess something that I don't typically like about synthetic brushes is that sometimes I feel like they're almost too slick, like the hairs themselves, and I feel like they don't really like grab the product as well, but these seem to be doing really, really good. Next I'm going to use this copper color here. This one is just like calling my name. It looks really pretty. It reminds me of a color from the Morphe Warm Shimmer palette that I really, really liked. So I'm going to do this kind of like on the outer edge, and I'll kind of like blend the two colors together. These are really good. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hesitant because it was just, you know, like a $10 palette. I was kind of like, well, how good can it be? But I don't know, so far this seems to be going on pretty easily and looks really pretty. Next I'm going to try one of these matte colors. So I'm going to do this center color here. It's kind of like a matte, kind of medium warm brown. So I'm going to take this on the blending brush, and I'm going to just pop that in the crease. Hopefully it'll be dark enough to kind of work, but I'll probably have to use one of the other darker colors as too, but that's okay. Next I'm going to take another one of the brushes. There's not really a true like pencil brush kind of brush that I really like using for crease, but this one is the closest thing from this set. So this is the number 11 brush. It looks like this. It's kind of one of those, it's more of like a skinnier flat shader brush. And with this darkest color here, I'm going to take that one. This one is a shimmer. I typically like to use like a matte for like a really dark crease, and I'm gonna really focus this in the crease to kind of give more definition to my eyes. This way I can get a little bit more precise placement, and then I'm gonna blend that color out as well. Going back with that first color that we used on the lid, I'm going to apply that to the lower lash line. And this turquoise color is just calling my name, so I can't not use it. So I'm going to use that again with the smaller flat shader brush, and we're going to apply this to the lower lash line. So I'm going to focus this kind of more so on the center of the lower lash line, just for kind of like a little bit of a pop. And then going back with the darkest color that we used, I'm going to, again, same brush, apply that to the outer corner of my lower lash line. And because I'm feeling like a little bit adventurous with my makeup, this might be a really bad mistake. It probably will be. But I'm gonna take some of that blue and I'm gonna do like an inner corner shadow with it. And just because I'm a little afraid about messing this up, I'm gonna use just my usual makeup brushes just because I'm used to using these. And I like this one for applying inner corner highlights and stuff. So I'm gonna go super light at the beginning because I want to be able to like fix this if it looks horrible. but I just kind of want to do like a super light kind of dusting of this on the inner corner. So it looks really weird at the moment, but what I'm going to do is then I'm going to take the lightest color in the palette, this one right here. It is a light, very slightly shimmery color. And now I'm going to take that and just lightly kind of pack a little bit of that on top of it to kind of lighten it up a bit and make it a little bit more shimmery. So that's what it looks like with a little bit of that blue in the inner corner. Like I said, I kind of mixed the shadows to kind of make it a little lighter and a little more wearable. So I kind of like how it looks. It's a little bit different, and I feel like this is just a really fun kind of look. So this is the look with the liner and the mascara, and I added on just a little bit of the Ulta Gel eyeliner in the color Aqua just to like the center of my waterline to kind of, again, bring more emphasis to that blue color. So the next product I'm going to use is the BH Cosmetics Studio Pro Eyebrow Pomade. So this one is in the color Blonde. The color seems to be pretty good. It's a very cool toned color, so let's try it out. And there's no really good eyebrow brush in the BH Cosmetics one, so I'm just going to use my Sigma tiny angled one. So I'm just going to kind of like dig in there just a little bit to kind of load up my brush and try it out. It's really close to my natural brow color, so that's good. It does darken my brows quite a bit, so you can see here's with, here's without. I don't really mind that so much, because like with blondes, I feel like you kind of need darker browns, or darker brows rather, because then sometimes it just looks a little off, so I don't mind having like a little bit of a darker brow. That was really easy to work with. I like that. Yeah, so that is my brow. So the last product that I have from BH Cosmetics is the BH liquid lipstick in the color Daisy. So I was really excited about it. This is what it looks like, and I've never tried their liquid lipsticks before, so this will be a first time. But when I saw this color online, it looked vaguely similar to Kat Von D's Requiem, and I do have that one, so I'll show it real quick to compare it. I wouldn't call them dupes. I definitely think that Requiem is a little bit more pink, so this one's actually a little bit more purple than Requiem, but they are very similar, but I do think that Requiem is slightly more of a pinky one. It's a little lighter, but we'll give it a go. So it doesn't really seem to have much of a scent, maybe like a slight, like, not chemical scent, but just kind of like just ingredients. So let's put it on. Okay, so that is it applied. It is a very light kind of purple color, but say it with me, I love lavender colors, even though they look bad on me. I swear, I need to like tattoo that on my body or something. But here's the color Daisy. It actually looks a little more purple. I'm like looking in the viewfinder. It looks a little more purple in person. I think it's looking a little bit more dusty pink. I don't really love how it looks with this eye makeup, but I love the color. Let me see. Okay, I found my little invoice thing, so I'll tell you all the prices of everything really quick. Let's see. So the brow pomade was $8. The foundations, I think they were on sale for $4.50 each. That's amazing for like foundation. I don't know if that's like a permanent sale price, but $4.50 a piece, and these are 0.85 ounces, so just so you know, it's a little under an ounce. Then the liquid lipstick in the color Daisy was $8.50. I think that's an amazing price for liquid lipsticks. I'm gonna let it dry just a little bit more before I talk about the formula of it. The eyeshadow, or the bronze palette, whatever, it's eyeshadow bronzer highlighter. That was $10, so I think that's really good. And then the brush set was $20 for all the brushes, and including the little like tumbler case for it. So really quickly, I'm gonna do a rundown of what I thought of each product. So starting out, let's see, we'll just start with the brow stuff. Love the brow stuff. I think it's just a tiny bit dark, but I can live with this and I like it a lot. So I love this brow stuff, so I'm sold on that. What was next? The foundations. So I This one does seem like it's probably a bit dark for me, but I did use the light olive color today. I like this. I think the foundation looks good. It's not like settling into my fine lines or anything. I mean, like, I'm 23 almost, so it's like, what fine lines do I have? But like, I don't have great skin, but this looks pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with this. So especially if like $4.50, if you can still get it for that price, I would say go for it. Let's see, next, so the eyeshadows, or the palette rather, I really liked the bronzer. It worked pretty well for my fair skin. The highlight looks good. I feel like that's a really pretty highlight color. It's not too dark for me, which I was really surprised at, just because I thought it was gonna be, you know, a little muddy looking on my skin. So the shadows, how many of the shadows did I use today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, I almost used all the shadows. So I used this color, this color, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So those are the shadows that I used. I felt like the two matte ones here were just a little bit weak, but still not bad at all. The blue, I love the blue, the turquoise color, the shimmer copper colors, those were great. I don't know, I'm pretty impressed with this. I think this turned out really, really good. I love the mirror in the palette. It's huge. You can actually, like, this is a damn good mirror for this palette. It, you know, obviously is the entire thing, so it's perfect for like taking with you if you need to like do your makeup in a hotel room or something where there's just really bad lighting or not good mirrors. This is a really good mirror. It also has like a hinge to where like you can actually like let it sit at whatever angle you want. I'm not a huge like person that really cares about that, but I know a lot of people do, so I was really impressed with that. The only thing is that the insert that the actual products are in is like I mentioned earlier, it's a very light plastic, so I can like push on it and feel those little like soft spots. So it's a little cheap on that side, but otherwise the products I really like, and that's really like what really matters. The packaging's pretty. We'll get tons of fingerprints, but again, I don't really care about stuff like that. So overall, I liked this palette. $10 for 9 shadows, a highlighter, and a bronzer. I think that was really good. I'm happy with the look. I would recommend this. This was really good. The brushes, I'm still gonna have to like use all the brushes and like really try them out some more before I can get like a super definite opinion on these. But you know, I was really surprised, like especially using the eye brushes. I feel like they worked just as well as my natural hair brushes, and they're synthetic, so there's no animal hair and stuff, so that's great. Again, I just have to try these more. You know, with brushes, it's kind of like you want to use it, wash it, dry it, use it again, and then kind of really make an opinion on it. For $20, 11 brushes and a little carrying tumbler thing. I don't know, I think that's not a bad price for brushes. And then finally the liquid lipsticks. So that was $8.50. I think that's a phenomenal price for liquid lipsticks, especially since, you know, my favorite, I always talk about it anytime I talk about liquid lipsticks, is the Kat Von D Everlasting liquid lipsticks. They are, I think, $20, which is a lot. But these I'm so impressed with. It does not feel sticky at all. It was $8.50. The color's pretty. It was really thin and comfortable. My lips don't feel over dried. It feels very similar to the Kat Von D liquid lipsticks, which have a very thin texture to them, but they're not drying. They just kind of feel naked on my lips. So I gotta give it to BH Cosmetics. I like pretty much everything I've ordered this time, which I think this is only the second time I've ordered from them, but I'm really happy with everything I got. So something I definitely want to check out more in the future is #1, these liquid lipsticks. I think these look really pretty. They feel so comfortable. I don't remember how many colors they had, so I'm gonna have to like definitely check that out. And the palette, I was very pleasantly surprised by that. I was, you know, I also liked the brushes, I liked the brow, and I liked the foundation as well, but I kind of expected to like those. You know, I was kind of like, well, you know, there's not a whole lot of brow products or like foundations that I just absolutely hate. So those are really good. I'm happy with them. But these were the two most I guess like surprising. So I'm very happy with this, and yeah, that is it for this really long rambly video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, link is below, and until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.